Right, I was supposed to be here at 10 o'clock, but life got a little bit, I just lost track of time, honestly. I lost track of time. I was messaging a friend, and I just completely lost track. So, hello. If you are here, please go ahead and put in the comments your name and just good morning. If you're watching this on the replay, put hashtag replay. Why? Because it just helps me to know who's here and connect with you on a more personal level. So, please go ahead and do that for me. All right, you know what? So today my son left for college. No one really prepares you for this. Like, they come home, right? Kids come home and it's just so nice to have them home. But then they have to leave again. And it's super sad. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with today. But let me, since this is what I love to do, I'm going to encourage you right now. I'm sad he's gone. And moms, if you have littles, especially you with littles, you're like, they're never going to leave me, or it's going to break my heart when they do. It does, and it's hard. And my and is over there. I'm going to get it because, yeah, this to me is important. My son's laughing at me. And yes, it's hard. And I think this is one of the most important words in the human language is and there is joy. And this is honestly what we raise our kids for, right? We raise our kids to launch them. So yes, I'm sad he's gone. Yes, I miss him. And I've done my job. You've done your job when you launch them. It doesn't mean your job's done, but this is what you train them for, is to go out into the world and make a difference, right? Like I prayed over him this morning, just that he is a blessing to those around him, that he stands up in the midst of an ungodly world to be a light in the darkness. You see, that's the and. Yes, he's gone, and he's out to do something great. Okay, that was not the topic of today. Let's get to the topic for today. Again, if you are here, please go ahead and put your name so I know who I'm talking to. Oh, who's here? Oh, Ellen and Max. Max, good morning to you. I know. Hi, Ellen as well. But Max, good morning. How are you? Tell your mom to say hi to me in the comments, okay? Say, Mommy, say hi to Miss Tammy. Okay, I would love to give you a big hug. Big hugs to you. All right, so today, let's get to the topic. Sorry. Max is my buddy. He listens to me. Today we're talking about your word for 2022, right? If you have not put your word in the comments yet on Tuesday's video, go ahead and put your word for the 2022 in today's video. I am going to write them all down and be praying for you this year. I'm going to put it in my Bible and be praying over your word. And then I'll probably contact you throughout the year. In fact, I know I will because I like doing that. And just see how your word's going. See if you remember your word. Hold you accountable to it. When we talked on Tuesday, we talked about really magnifying that word, how to use it in such a way that you actually make a difference in your life this year. That it's not just a word you put up and you're like, oh yeah, that was my word is abundance, but I don't know how to use it. And so if you didn't watch that video, go watch Tuesday's live, because I gave you 3 simple steps to really be intentional and be purposeful with making sure that word is in the forefront of your mind all throughout 2022. And just so you know, I did exactly what I told you to do Tuesday. I did it too. So this isn't something I'm like, go do this. Nope, it's simplifying the process and really making it purposeful and intentional. But we also talked about using an oil that helps to magnify that word in your brain. So my word this year, oops, that's the wrong oil. Hold on. I've got my oil here. My word this year is release. And this is what we're going to talk about today, is how to match your oil up with your word and how to use it so that you really actually create more neural pathways faster, that your brain actually believes that that's your word for the year. Because putting a word out there for the year does nothing unless you actually are purposeful to make it intentional and to make it have effect. You actually, the words you speak bring life into that word. Okay, so release is my word. My word for this year is release. And I told you, I think on Tuesday, that it's been something the Lord has told me to do. Like, he's literally commanded me to do this for years. And I'll write it down and I'm like, okay, yes, Lord, I need to release. Okay, but this year I'm like, nope, I get it. Like there is no more putting it off and taking things back. I must open my arms up and release a few things into the Lord's hands. And so there is an oil actually that is called release. So that's an easy way to match it up. Like my word actually had an oil. I didn't pick my word because of that, but it's super nice that it does. One thing that people think is, well, that's kind of a weird name for an oil, right? You're used to peppermint, lemon, lavender, things like that. Why is it called release? It's such a weird, like, I almost think it's almost like a hippy dippy. Is that weird to say? Like weird. It just feels weird to have that name. At least I used to think so. What I found out is there is a reason for this name. The reason is that they measured the frequency of your body when it was in a state of releasing things, when it was in a state of not controlling, of going, okay, this is not in my control, I release it. And your body has a certain frequency when it's doing that. Well, that oil, that combination of oils has a certain frequency, and it has the frequency of a person in a release state of being. Does that make sense? So it's not that they're like, let's just put some oils together and call it release. No, they actually did it in a scientific manner where they measured what that meant, what your body's frequency is in a state of release. And then they put those oils to go, let's find that exact frequency. And what happens is, so here's your body when it's stressed. Like when I'm trying to control everything, my frequencies are low. The frequency of release is up here, right? So I'm going to do two of these. See if I can hold the microphone at the same time. So here's my body. Here's the frequency of release. And what happens is I put the oil on and my body goes, oh, I want to try to match and harmonize with that oil. And so your body tries to harmonize with that, and the brain function goes, oh, release. Okay, I'm going to try and get to that state, that frequency. And then as you speak your word, your body puts that neural pathways together that says, this is the frequency of release. I choose to release. I choose to live in freedom. And your body starts believing it. So the oil, putting it on, actually raises your body's frequency. And it goes, okay, this is where I want to be. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. If you have questions, like put them in the comments, ask away. I'm happy to do my best to explain that to you. But you're actually creating a lot of those neural pathways through that oil. So here's how I use it. I go ahead and I'm like, okay, I have my whiteboard marker and I put it on my mirror, right? So I encourage you, if you didn't watch Tuesday, get your whiteboard marker and write your word on your bathroom mirror. And then I take the oil. Go ahead and take your oil and you smell it. And you say, I choose to release. I choose to release. And for me, I have a few things I'm releasing, but I'm not going to tell you those. They're my personal things I'm releasing. And so I go ahead and smell your oil, and then take your oil. I usually drop it in my hand. I'm just going to kind of do it this way since I've got a microphone. And right here above your forehead and on your earlobes are fabulous emotional alarm points that go, okay, this is a great place. Why? It's just right on that brain, right? Also on your neck is on your brain stem. And those three places are great for releasing emotion, for dealing with emotion. I love emotion. I hate emotions and I love them at the same time. I love dealing with them. That's really my passion with oils, is dealing with emotional well-being. I deal very minimal with physical. I deal mostly with emotions because I'm a hot mess. But then as you put it on and you smell the oil, again, you're creating those pathways in your brain that say, oh, I'm choosing to release. It's all about being purposeful. Purposeful is so important in all of this. I never encourage you just to put on an oil and go, okay, it's going to do its work. No, there's a purpose behind it, and you have to be intentional if you really want to make it effective. Okay, so put it on, smell it, and then my statement that I do is I choose to live free. So I've got two things. I'm releasing, but I'm also choosing to live free. And that, again, is just, what is the purpose of my release? What is the purpose of your word? If you're thriving this year, I choose to thrive in my home. Laughter is important to me. Like, what is your statement? Yes, your word is thrive, but what's the statement behind it? What are you thriving in, right? If you choose energy this year as your word, where do you want to be energetic? Speak that out. That speaking is so important. So I have a YouTube video, I think, on 30 days of prayer and oils that goes into more detail. I could talk on and on about this, but I'll shorten it up. So my challenge to you today is match your word with an oil. And let me tell you, I've got a few here that are super easy. If you're choosing joy this year, of course, there is an oil for joy. I've got harmony. If you want to be harmonic in your family, that's a super powerful word. And there is an oil called harmony. If you're looking for positivity, white angelica, super good for pushing off the negative and taking on a positive mindset. White angelica is fabulous. And again, why do I say this is good for this? It's the same frequency as a positive person who refuses negativity. They've tested it. And this white angelica is really good for that. If your word this year is courage, you choose to have courage in your home, in your business. I'll tell you, this one's valor. I've put valor on and said, I find that I have courage today to be kind. I know it seems so small, like, Tammy, aren't you always kind? No, I'm not. But sometimes it takes courage to be kind to someone who's being super mean, right? And so, valor. If you need courage this year to be kind to others, if you need courage to find joy, if you need courage to build a business, whatever it is that you need courage for, valor is a great oil of courage. Valor, right? That's to have valor is part of courage. Okay, so I do have an actual book, and if you have questions of your word, like if your word this year is complete, that's a good word. I choose to be complete this year. I have an oil for that. Truthful. If you need clear direction, if your word is clarity, there's certain oils that go with those words. So whatever your word is, I actually have a reference book, and I'm happy to help you find what your oil of the year should be with your word, and we'll match them up together. Wisdom. Ooh, if your word is wisdom, I bet you didn't know this. Your oil would be copaeba. Look at that. So I'm happy to go through this word with you. Message me personally. What is it? Hold on, my word is faith. Oh, okay. I'm going to message you personally. That's Ellen, right? Ellen, that's still you? I just want to make sure because it still just says Facebook user. I'm going to go through with you, and we're going to look through what the opposite of faith is and find your word, because I'd have to look that up right now, and I don't know exactly, but I will happily look that up for you, Ellen. Faith, yeah. I'm going to think on that and get back to you. So message me personally, and I will help you with that word. I'm not just going to throw out an oil and just go, oh, here it is. But I want to talk to you and go, okay, what are you having faith for? What's the opposite? What are you not having faith in? And then we'll find an oil that helps you build that faith, or build that thrive mentality, build that stress away mentality. I know a lot of people want to get rid of anxiety. I've got a great one that matches with that. So send me a message. And if you're watching this and you haven't picked up essential oils yet, please send me a message. I promise you I'm not just going to go, here, buy all this. No, we'll figure out exactly what's good for you, what will be most beneficial in your home. And let's get that one or two, or maybe a bunch of oils. I don't know what you need. But send me a message, and I'm happy to give you some education and help you out. If it's not a right fit for you, I promise I won't suggest it. Okay? So, and Ellen, I'll be messaging you after this, and we'll figure out a good oil for you for the year. Faith. I've got to think on that one. I love that word, by the way. Frankincense. I'm going to have to think on that, but that's the first oil that came to mind for you. Why? Because frankincense is a holy anointing oil given to Jesus, right? Talk about faith. That is, That's just a calming, grounding one. And a lot of times faith requires being still and having this real grounding in what you know is truth is truth. And that to me is frankincense. So that's off the top of my head, but I'm still going to PM you and we'll chat about it. All right. Okay, guys. Hey, if you are not in my Joyful Moms group yet, please, please, please join in on there. I'm going to be doing some special things in there this year. Still working on my calendar, making sure that I don't overwhelm myself. But I believe we're going to be doing every Friday a Friday tea time with me, just to kind of chat and talk mom things, talk oils, talk health and wellness. Pretty soon, I've got a new thing I'm going to be bringing to you. I'm just talking to a friend about it, but that will be in the Joyful Moms group. So please make sure that you are in there. And if you are already in there, please invite some people. We are out to raise the next generation, guys. And that Joyful Moms group is going to be super powerful. I just know it because I have faith that God is creating a huge movement in there of moms who want to change the course of history in our world. And that happens in your arms when you're holding those little guys. I just held my 18-year-old today. That happens to change the world. And prayer over our kids and our teens and our littles and anointing them and blessing them, we change the world that way. If you ever want to know what you can do in this world that's really messed up right now, you teach and train your children in the way they should go. So please make sure you are in that Joyful Moms group, and please make sure you're inviting other moms who are like-minded, who really want to train up their children, and we'll be in there together supporting and loving on one another and just making sure that we do this together, right? This is a together thing. All right, friends, love you bunches, and I will see you next Tuesday. I'll be live again. I've got a good live coming on Tuesday talking about some new things that are happening in 2022. All right, God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.